Good afternoon. Well, thanks for the introduction. I'm 55 and I have no problem with that. So after Gucci, after LVMH, I'm the third to give some kind of first-hand account of what counterfeiting is and the fight of counterfeiting. So in order to make sure that you are not requesting a coffee very quickly, I thought of drawing a parallel between, I would say, global warming and counterfeiting. So you have all heard about Al Gore compelling documentary about global warming called Inconvenient Truth. And he starts his speech by a terrible avowal of failure, even a confession. As you can see, I've been trying to get a message across for a long time and feel like I have failed. I can do the same talking about counterfeiting. And in order for you to understand, I will use the same analogy with global warming and counterfeiting, describing what the crisis is, and eventually, because I'm a little bit more optimistic, to give some hints as to how to tackle the crisis. So first, the portrait of a crisis. It's global, it's ever-growing, everybody is concerned, problem unsolved by laws, and a real economic problem with strong repercussion. Al Gore, when he presented the globality of his problem, started to deal with global warmth, melting whole block of ice in Greenland, then moving to Gulf Stream currents directly at the origin of floods and hurricanes, and finally with the exodus of people. That's the globality of the problem. With counterfeiting, it's almost the same. You all heard about China. Large fraction of the products are sourced from this country. But you may have heard also about Dubai. I think Natalie mentioned it this morning. Or Triple de la Frontera. Stephen has discussed the issue of Latin America. And those two places in the world are either transit area, safe haven, and I'm not going even to talk about the Internet, which has created a multifold problem on the worldwide basis. So, global problem. I think you have seen this chart before. 81% of products seized in America are coming from China. So, but what is China? China, it's a mass producer first. This is one of the first actions we took for Mont Blanc in 2003. We seized 800,000 pens in one day. This corresponds briefly to almost an annual production of Mont Blanc genuine pen in a year. We seized them, and we saw that they were very adaptable, because the minute we were effective in Jiangxi, they moved to Liaoning region to establish their new fabrics. We were not evil, and I think Carlo mentioned this, to reach the threshold of criminal prosecution. Probably the prosecutor considered that 800,000 pens were not sufficient to qualify for criminal prosecution. But it's much more than that. Chinese are perfectionists. They are copying more than this is the trademark, and I believe when you are a few yards away, you can't really distinguish between the two. But they copy also the layout. The top is the genuine layout, the bottom is what they do. And they go as far as going with the advertisement as well. So this gives an idea of the seriousness, the volume, and the quality that China is able to churn out right now. But as I said before, it's a problem also, a worldwide problem, because of the transit area. This is Dubai, with Jebel Ali Port, the largest man-made harbor, and you have 12 such similar ports in the UAE. This is a natural conduit for zillions of counterfeits worldwide today. Other geographical place showing the globality of the problem, which is less discussed, this zone which is called Triple La Frontera, Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, where basically no law is enforceable, a safe haven for counterfeits. The last operation of Interpol last year resulted in 134 criminal procedures, 185 people arrested, and $115 million worth of merchandise seized in one operation. And what to say about the Internet? The Internet contributed to this dissemination of fake like no other channel. 24 hours, 7 open, global reach, and with a wonderful anonymity which enable counterfeiters to make the best use of technology. So this is an example we have been dealing with. I call it the Al-Qaeda of counterfeiting. It's still ongoing. In a matter of 10 days, phantom sites are set up. Thousands of spams set out to offer fake watches, orders taken worldwide, money wired, and website shut down in 10 days. Interpol, FBI, nobody accepted to tackle the issue. It's still ongoing, and nobody will stop these people unless you have some kind of collaboration and political will to tackle this type of operation. So in his presentation, Al Gore used a very dramatic demonstration of the exponential growth of CO2 over the years. The same applies, of course, to counterfeiting. You have seen this chart before also. It's a number of registered cases in the European Union border where IPR seizures are organized. You see it's growing, it's continuing, it's even exponential, I would say. A problem which concerns everyone. Yes, I love this bear. And it means that every living species will be affected by global warming. The same of counterfeiting can be said. This is just an illustration. All business sectors are concerned. So a problem unsolved by laws. You all heard about the Kyoto Protocol, and you see the little practical effect. But you have heard also about WTO member and member to TRIPS, and you have seen that laws and treaties are evidently not enough to tackle the problem of counterfeiting, China being fully TRIPS compliant, of course. I don't want to say that laws are not effective. I'm from Switzerland. Very recently, they changed the law in 2008, which enabled customs to have incredible track record with seizures of products. But remember, and with all due respect to the action of customs, they check between 1% to 2% of incoming products. This leaves 98% of products to be checked by companies. So in his presentation, Al Gore comes to the conclusion that warning on global warming continue to be ignored, very simply because they disrupt immediate economic profitability of a few companies. And this is summed up very excellently by Upton Sinclair, who says it's difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends upon his not understanding it. Applied to counterfeiting, it's a real problem. This is David Teng in 2005 in the South China Morning Post, expressing the view that counterfeiting trades enables whole population to work and earn a living. Very cynical, but it was in the press. He goes as far as to say half of Temple Street exudes more style than the whole of Disneyland. This trendy approach